please go back to your seat. How many of you understand what it says? Harry's example is not working. Raise your hand.
Did
So many
you
of
did you
understand that? Why is this not working?
do you want us to point out the part of that is not barking?
Harry's example is not working, but not working. So why did it say it's not working?
To point out why it is not.
Yeah, why is this not working? I said because this example is not working. If you understand why Harry's example is not typical barking, that's answer. 我还是用中文好了。Harry 的举的例子是说，我们他是就是 customer 跟 bank，customer 可能要去做任何的事儿啊。For example，他可能要 withdraw 这个钱，对不对啊？当然 withdraw 这个钱，可是有很多原因，那还没有得到 respond，就是他要假设他要，Harry 很有钱，他要 withdraw 5万块，不5万，it is allowable，假设他是 allowable，那我不知道5万好像甭提了吧，没有快速的 respond，那 Harry 就 quit 了。那可能是那个时候的 traffic 很 heavy。我说 traffic 不是车子的哈，就是这种 communication no that 所以它的 traffic 非常 heavy，所以 quit 对吧？那 again 因为在等很久不要 no， 这个不是等很久，这一个。immediately， 这是一个啊。那我们主教 Jack 说，要就是他的，我说不是，就是设定时间。Yeah, you can设定这个时间啊。那设定时间的话就 remind 啊，但一样的，你设定时间这个都不是 immediately 的事儿啊。但是你可以这样的 design，就是我设定也许。30 seconds whatever 你有一个 就断掉，可断掉是 server 要断掉的，不是 client， 所以这里有不同的地方。而 Harry 他要 quit 不要啊，可是我说 what's next？ 他说那是不是接下来就是再重新再做一次嘛？啊，我说那不是。Penny 说：“我可能做其他的方式嘛，啊，我说那也不是，所以我 working is， 所以我说的不是就是在这里 ，OK。If the customer wanted to do it again, then gotta do it differently, because usually barkings will be applied to a very critical or confidential situation. All right. I presume that I send a message. I don't want anyone knows. All right. So the the bank will know, send, So probably something break. Then someone need to do it again. No, deposit again or withdraw it again. I do it the same. No, but if there's blocking, I wanted to send then is a risk. Somebody will intercept, right? This message. So Harry wanted to send it to me, right? We have an agreement that we probably we set a time. Said that I will send you at 10. So I wait, right? 10 receive it, right? So that's it, right? Then we will do the next, right? Because I don't want anyone to intercept this message. If it fails, that means probably something wrong with the receiver. You got it? Alright, with the receiver. 如果我 send 这个 message， 对方没有马上回复通常就是 very confidential， 很保密性很高的 ，alright， 所以不可能让他游走，也不可能其他人跟我一样做一样的事儿，所以那完全不是 ，OK， 那 but I said that's well, you decide to abandon it。如果他没有收到我们的 design， 就是他会把这个 message kill 掉，当作没有发生。You got it? So that is working. You got it? Do you understand that? So that's not it's quite critical. Okay. So I hope you understand. It's about barking, right? So now what if I'm combine barking and states? How to combine barking and states? Tell me that.
You say because the states you barking, as you mean. You want this? Is for examples is because again this bank you want to withdraw money, but the current money is not enough to you can get the current money. Then you will bargain because the state is strong.
You said you wanted to withdraw money, but your phone is not enough.
Yeah.
So your account, it's no sufficient fund.
My mean is the bank money is not. Maybe this is not accurate example. Another example like a washing machine, and is working, and you want to wash your clothes, but the clothes but someone's clothes is inside the washing machine, and you cannot wash these clothes. Yeah, it's the state, because the states and is barking.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's good. So barking combined, can be combined with states, right? So you probably have different kinds of states. The states will do the thing, right? Unless this state is in the right state, right? Then you can do it. Otherwise, you got to change or stop you, all right? Okay, so that's barking can be combined with states. So now we have a class. The class, give it a name, it's barking, all right? And the attribute, we said a state, right? So state. And this class has 3 methods, all right? So let me explain it. So we have a class barking, have 3 states: not ready, ready, and busy, all right? It has a default state as not ready, right? Usually we say that's off or not ready. Okay. And the class has 3 methods: make, ready, perform action and action complete. All right. So we have a class working, and the class has 3 states: not ready, ready, and busy. The deep water is on and off, right? That's. And here, make ready, we have the method make ready, and we have method perform action. If we wanted to perform action, we gotta be ready. So you need to see that if it is not ready, right, you gotta send message. So yes, like barking, you cannot do that, all right? So an error reminder should be outputs, and then you set it as busy, not yet, right? Until it is not busy, right? So this method perform action, right? If it is ready, then you can do it. If it is not ready, you need to send a reminder, right? Reminder, and then set it as busy until it's ready. Okay, and the perform actions. So we need to do something, right? You can do something, but here, you can only have a printout. I'm doing something like that, right? Presume, it's going to do something. And then you have action complete. When you complete it, then you change the state as ready. Change state as ready, right? You will design. Here, as I give you the scenario. You may ask, why do I need to change this as ready, right? When you said it's ready, that means that you can perform other function, all right? If you said it's not ready, then you got to make it ready again. No. So here is what example. So write the code now. Discuss in a group. All right. If you are able to do it by yourself, then you can do it, right? Otherwise, discuss in a group. So now. So I'm going to say that how do you solve the problem, right? So about this problem. So your strategy, right? And if you can finish that in 30 minutes, that's good. So I'm going to say that if you wanted to change your group, right, then you should discuss in a new group, right? It's become the new group. So if you decide to do this your own, I'm going to call you, all right, to solve the problem, all right? So I think that you can, solve that individually. So you know how to solve it already? And then you don't need to participate in a discussion. Individually. Okay, so you have a discussion? So Jackie, can you solve the problem by yourself? But why don't you discuss with each other? Can you solve this by yourself? Did you discuss? Discuss. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you to solve the problem. If you can do it, that means that you don't need to discuss with others, your group member. So you're the same group, right? Can you solve the problem now? So you guys, can you solve the problem? Can you answer the question? Can you solve the problem? What? You didn't. No way. You three. You are group 7, right? Groups 6, 7, 6, right? So you know how to solve the problem. Why don't you discuss with each other, and so you can solve the problem? Yes. So you wanted to solve the problem. So it's already done it. Well, why do you don't discuss at all? What? So it's already solved it, all right? So then I'm going to ask you to write the code. Your team. Finish the code. Finish the code, right? I didn't see it your discussion. What about you? Which part? So everyone does this song. Everyone does this song. So what are you doing? Which part? You didn't do anything. What are you doing? What? Let me see your code. Why don't you discuss? Yeah, you gotta discuss with each other. Yes. Can you solve the problem now? You wanted to do it by yourself? The same group, right? But you don't discuss with each other. solve the problem. Okay. Let's see. Do you know how to answer this question? Why don't you discuss? Why don't you discuss with each other? All right, then can you answer? Can you answer? You know how to solve it? You know how to solve it? Any teams already finished the code? Any team? Okay, please go back to your seats. Does anyone can tell me how to write the function perform action? Perform action, how to write it? The code. You finish this, perform action. So raise your hand if you finish that for the function perform action. Not yet? I said the method perform action must be run when the status is ready. So the condition, right? So you have condition. So usually when I said that perform action, or some method, must be run when the status stays is ready. Okay, so it's ready. So you got to see that if it's not ready, what happened, right? But otherwise, so I presume that when you write a code, right, so you need to give, if it's just not ready, then what happened? It's not ready. So write a code that's, if it's just not ready first, right? If it's just not ready, then it's going to print out, right, an error, right? And then set the status busy. Else, then you can do it, right? Else, right? So it's better to see that if it's not ready, then print out something, right, wrong, and change the state, right? So the status busy. Else, you can do it, but you can do it, and I said that make it simple. So I'm doing something, right, and finish the action. So finish the action, change the state as ready. No, any teams ready? Okay, and I'll give you some time to finish that. That's probably you have to finish that today, or we'll discuss this TA, right? Or it's going to turn in, submit your results, right? So if you decide to change the group, work in the new group, right? I hope that you can discuss, right, with your team members, and everyone share your thinking, how to solve it. So let's move to state. State diagram usually is very hard for you to draw as our midterm examination. So states could be quite simple. I said that if you wanted to draw state diagram, it could be a class, all right? And I said, don't describe the whole procedure, the process, right? We wanted to focus on what procedure make it change the states, right? So your state diagram might be different from others, but from your diagram, that we can tell that if you understand. So here, if we get engine, right? The simple one that is up and on, it's only to turn on, right? Turn on the engine and up the engine, right? And the states, no, from on to off, right? So we start from off for safety consideration, right? Off, right? So initial, let's go off. Park, right? You wanted to park your car, right? So of course, cannot move the park, right? So describe or a transition. So transition here, park and then you can reverse it, reverse import. If you reverse, you can, put it to neutral, from neutral to forward or backward, that's right. So not every state, they can transmit, right, transfer to the other one, right. So it's the easier example. So you can see that. So state is a dependent behavior, right? Even the state can go to the top, right? Some condition, no, just they can go to reflex to itself, right? So what is the state dependent behavior of a phone, right? A phone may have different states, right? And really, what's the simple one for home? Telephone state, telephone. So we need to make a call, right? Phone call, right? So you can, what's the state of phone? You wanted to make a phone call to others, right? So the initial, there's stand there, right? It's off, nothing happened. And you wanted to pick it up, then, well, you can dial. That's. So it could be very easy. Phone is up, right? Phone is on. I wanted to make a call, right? Then phone is from off to on. So the states will change, right? So here you can see states describe one target, right? A phone, right? So you have one phone, you just use one phone to communicate with others, right, on the phone. Lights, right? So your targets is lights, right? And nothing else. So lights is on, off. You can add some intermediate, right, with dim, right? So here is the easier one. So it could be a very simple, right? Simple lights. It's the lights on and off. That's right. So you can see so don't describe a lot of things about wanting to turn on, and then turn on is on, right? So the state is on. Then you can turn on. You can turn on. If it's a break, it could be break, right? Break then it's on to off. That's right. A lot of situations to make the state change. All right, some condition, right? So state 1 to state 2, right? S1, state 1 to state 2, the transition. So you can see transition. This transition from state 1 on to off. You want it to turn on or break or anything, right? It could be the power. No. So that what? Then it's going to off. You can go back. Go to SL under some condition, right? So make it complex. That's state transition. You add condition and action, right? State transition. Right. It could be. We just talk about a bank, right? So the bank, right? You have an account, right? So account. You might describe it different way, right? Account with fund, account without fund. When your account is active, right, then you can withdraw money. That's so. Your description that's about an account. This account, right, with fund. You can use different way to describe it. What does it mean with fund, right? You can withdraw. That's. You can transfer, right? You can deposit, or without any money, with money, or your account is frozen, right? That's so try to describe it, right? And think about that. Or you might describe it as the right hand side initial. So it's initial is wanting to open an account. That's right. So initial you press some form, so whatever is wanting to open an account, then become activated, right? Activated, then you can check balance, right? Activated, or frozen, it's closed, you cannot do anything. Close, or close. What situation is a close, then to go back. That depends on your policy, right? Policy that they can go to normal. That's if it's a normal, right? You can do a lot of things, right? Or suspending, or whatever. You can have different kinds of states, right? They describe in a different way. I could make it more complex. It's like traffic lights. Right. So now we go to more complex decision, right? So we just talk about when we describe state, right? So it says your account, right? There's different kinds of states, right? Then we spend a lot of time to discuss Barking use banking, right? So Barkings have to manage bank. We can use Barking, right? The second, right? So we have one situation, the other no. The first situation that usually that will not happens often, right? So when we send a message to the receiver, we expect that the receiver will respond immediately. Usually, they consider some, confidential situation, right? But that will not happen often, right? Like secret agent, secret agent. The secret agent is they have an agreement that that if it sends, and the receiver will not respond immediately. Probably the secret agent's already killed, right? Something wrong. But the other Barking will happen, right? So different states. So when we combine with states, then a Barking, can work, right? And here we come to a more complex one, right? Traffic lights. So it could be a physical piece of the hardware, right? Bulb, lights, right? And here we focus on more than one at once. Deal with more than one. So traffic lights. Right. When we think about traffic lights, the lights will change the states. All right. So light will change the state. But here, I give you an intersection, so you can see the picture intersection. Right. So that intersection, so we will not only focus on one lane. All right. We have the vertical one. The vertical one is north-south, right? But since it is an intersection, so we also have east-west, right? So east-west, that means that when we consider north-south, that's not enough, right? Because that will affect east-west. So now we have two targets, right? So presume that the vertical one, that is the main street, and east-west will be side streets. So we have main streets, we have side streets. We will not have two main streets for that. Okay, so we have main streets, we have side streets. North, south, east, west. So when we consider the traffic light change, then we need to deal with these two streets at the same time. Otherwise, accident will happen, right? You will not turn everything green like that, right? Probably sometimes you would turn it all red. Well, that happens rarely, but when something that's everybody freeze, you cannot move anywhere. You just stop there. So something happened, then freeze that. So it might happen, but we consider the normal situation, right? Do you understand what I said? The normal situation that we will not focus on just one lane. The main streets. Suppose it's a main street. When main street, right, northwest, right, north south is green, then you will not put east west as green, right? Because it would be very dangerous, right? Then it would not happen. We would not let that happen. Okay. How to decide that, right? So here, traffic lights. If we wanted to design a system now, we focus on a system, right? We're not focused on just one instance, one object. We focus on the system. So here, this system, right? First, we focus on system, right? Then we need to know that what state that is going to have. Tell me that. So what state regarding to the traffic lights for intersection? What states we're going to have? What makes the first one, we got to know the states, right? So the state, you need to know states, and then what triggered the state and the state change. So what's the state you can think of? Traffic lights, right? Traffic lights. So what's the states in the intersection? Raise your hand. Good, Penny, all right.
I'm not sure. Maybe we can control the light turn green, turn yellow, turn red. So
Yeah.
these three situation is our state.
The situation is
Our
Yeah.
state.
that you said you wanted to consider there's a turn red, a turn green, right? What decide turn red and turn green?
Busy or not?
Busy. What does it mean, busy or not?
It's the car
You have a lot
so
of vehicles.
many. The traffic is so traffic jam. Traffic what? So it turn red.
It's so busy, then turn red.
Yeah.
So it's very busy, then turn red. If it's not busy, then it's turn green. Is it very busy, then
Or
cannot go.
give it a time. 30 seconds or 50 seconds.
Okay, so we talk about two things, right?
Yes.
So talk about time and talk about the traffic, right? So normally, usually what decides the light change?
The time.
Time.
Normally is time.
Very good. So what's the input? What would be the input?
Time
Good.
is input.
Yeah, time, right. So here then we know that the time is the input. When we think about time, now we think it's a simple way, right? Time, right. If we wanted to make the thing easy, right? So, let me ask Elton, how many stays for 1 bit? How many stay for 1 bit? 1 bit. We put it simple, right? How many stay for 1 bit?
Two.
What are the two? Tell me two.
0 and 1.
Good. 0 and 2 bits?
4.
4. Okay. So can we change the original 1 bit become 2 bits? 2 states. We can change 1 bit to 2 bits. So here we have the inputs, right? Inputs. Then Penny says time, right? I just said it simple, right? Said it simple, right? As simple as time. If time is